All right, everyone. So once again, today, let's talk about accessories, and I want to share with you guys what the best fail stack levels are going to be when it comes to enhancing your accessories. And I'll also say here at the start that the answers might actually surprise you a bit. Now, if you're a bit more of an experienced player, you might know something for accessories called the accessory soft caps. I will explain what this is, but the answer to what the best level to enhance accessories, it's not necessarily going to be the soft cap for all accessories and all enhancement levels. There's actually a few really important things that I want to share with you guys that is probably going to save you quite a bit of silver after you learn this stuff, because definitely don't just go with the soft cap for all accessories. That's a general rule of thumb. But of course, there's always exceptions, and those exceptions are very important when it comes to saving yourself quite a bit of silver. Now, in order for me to really explain to you guys what the best levels to enhance your accessories are, though, I do have to explain what the soft cap is, because it is an incredibly important concept, especially if you are newer and you don't know what it is. And that is the way that fail stacks work is that there's a base enhancement chance, and then every fail stack level is going to increase your enhancement chance. Generally, each fail stack is 10% of the base enhancement chance. So you can almost think of it as like you basically start off with 10 fail stacks, except they're hidden fail stacks. And then every level gives you 10% of that. So like if we start off with 0 fail stacks, we have a 25% enhancement chance. And then if we add 10 fail stacks, that's going to double our enhancement chance. So again, you can kind of think of it as like 0 fail stacks is kind of like you have a hidden 10 fail stacks. But what happens with accessories, and it does actually happen technically with regular armor as well, it's just not really as noticeable, but you end up getting a certain percentage every single fail stack level. But then once you end up getting to a certain point, something happens, and that is that every fail stack level past that certain point is no longer going to give you that really big chunk of extra percentage chance that's normally equal to 10% of whatever the base enhancement chance is. It actually gets cut down by a lot. And for the base to pry accessories, you'll see that this actually happens right here at 18 fail stacks. And notice the really big jump that you actually have when you go from like 17 to 18 fail stacks and then 18 to 19. So you can see here that our base enhancement chance is 25%. Every level is giving us 10% of that, so 2.5%. So we go from 17 to 18, and we go from 67.5 to 70%. But then what happens after that is that now instead of getting 2.5% per fail stack, we are now only getting 0.5%. So basically it gets cut down by 80%. It's 1/5 of what it was before we actually got to the soft cap. Now this does happen for all of the different accessory enhancement levels, and it's very important to know what these are. If you ever do a lot of accessory enhancing in the future, you absolutely want to be aware of what the soft caps are for all the different enhancement levels, and I'll just tell you guys what they are here right off the bat. So if we have our base to pry accessories, the soft cap is going to be 18 fail stacks. Then we go to the next enhancement level, which is going to be our pry to duo accessories, and that's going to have a soft cap of 40 fail stacks. So you'll see that same pattern here. If we go to the start, you'll see that the base enhancement chance is 10%. Every level ends up giving us 1% before we get to the soft cap. And you can see that last level there, 49% to 50%. But then once we get to the soft cap, it only gives us 1/5 of that. So now instead of 1% per level, we're only getting 0.2% per level. So it's 40 fail stacks is the soft cap for the pry to duo accessories. The duo to try accessories, very interestingly, it's actually very close to 40 as well. It is going to end up being 44 fail stacks. So same pattern. You'll see it, 7.5% base enhancement chance. Every level is going to give us 0.75% chance, which is 10% of the original amount. And then with the soft cap, exact same pattern. We have that really big last level here. And then after that, they just give you a small chunk of that, 1/5 of what they give you before the soft cap. For TED accessories, the soft cap is going to be 110. This is another reason why 110 stacks are very valuable. TED accessories are huge. A lot of people who do a lot of enhancing will try to go for those TED accessories, and you're definitely going to want a 110 stack for most of them. Very important, guys. Not all of them, most of them. Some of them, you're either going to want a little bit more, but generally a little bit less, and those are going to be the cheaper accessories. And I'm going to get into some of these exceptions here with either using stacks lower or above the soft cap, because this is really what's going to save you a good chunk of silver and something that a lot of people probably don't really follow a whole lot of. I'll go ahead and share with you guys some of the things that I know and hopefully help save you silver here. And then, of course, you have the last one as well, which I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be too concerned about, but that's going for the pen accessories. And the soft cap for these is 490, so that's a very big jump there, of course. Not really realistic. The soft cap for pen accessories is not really too realistic, so don't really worry too much about that. The other ones, though, are indeed pretty important. So now that you know what the soft caps are, a lot of people's general rule of thumb when it comes to enhancing accessories is use the soft cap for that enhancement level. So if you're doing your base to pry accessories, you'll want to use 18 fail stacks to enhance the base to pry accessories. For the duo, you'll want to use 40 fail stacks. For the tri, you'll want to use 44. And for the tets, you'll want to use those 110 stacks. Now, this is a generalization, meaning you could use this rule. Most of the time, it's okay, and it's going to do you just fine, and it's not going to be really bad at all. Like, it's a generalization. It's totally fine to go with that. However, there are definitely exceptions to the rule and certain accessories and certain enhancement levels where you're actually going to want to change the plans a little bit, and instead of going with the soft cap, you're either going to want to go a bit lower or a bit higher, or even in some cases quite a bit lower or quite a bit higher. So I want to point out some of those exceptions and where they really happen at, because a good amount of them here are actually going to happen at the base to pry enhancement level, which is the very first step in the accessory enhancing process. And the soft cap is going to be 18. Now notice how the soft cap to go from base to pry is 18 fail stacks. And getting 18 fail stacks is generally not really too difficult. If you're still newer, if you don't know about plus 14 to plus 15 reblats, that's going to be a pretty common way to get up to like 20 or so fail stacks without really too much of a problem. It might take you a few chances, but that's one of the easier ways to get the 20 fail stacks or anything close to 20 fail stacks. Now, this is definitely going to be the easiest one to do by far compared to all the other fail stacks that you're going to need. And because of that, for specific accessories that are very, very expensive, the base items are going to be pricey. You're going to want to go a bit above 18 fail stacks, even though that is the soft cap. And now, instead of getting 2.5% per fail stack level, you're only going to end up getting 0.5%. It might seem like a really, really big jump, and it is definitely a very, very big jump. But for those very, very expensive accessories, and let's actually take a look at the market here. Let's pull up some accessories so you guys can actually see the prices on some of them. I'll actually bring up the best example here to start off, and that's going to be the black distortion earring. You can see how expensive that these are. The base items alone are going to be 300 million silver each. Now, this is something that a lot of the times you're going to want to use crons on, but that's a whole different story there. Let's not really get into that. For now, just notice that the base price is very, very expensive. You're looking at almost 300 million each, and these generally don't really go too much lower than like 280, 290. This is actually a pretty low price for them right now. That's very expensive. Remember, you're going to need two in order to enhance. You're going to need the base item, and then you're going to need a copy of the accessory, the copy of the base accessory at whatever enhancement level that you're at in order to actually do the enhancing attempt. So basically, in order to go from base to pry black distortion earrings, you're looking at about 600 million silver. That is an insane amount of silver right there, and I can tell you that even though the soft cap for the base to pry accessories is pretty darn low at 18 fail stacks, 70% chance you do get that really big penalty. That 0.5% is going to mean a lot when it comes to a 600 million silver enhancement attempt. And the money that you end up saving going from 18 to 19 fail stacks on a very expensive accessory versus the amount of extra silver that it costs you to get that fail stack level. Like, it's really not a whole lot to get that one extra level. If you do a cost breakdown of how much it costs to build fail stacks, like, no matter how you look at it, really no matter how you do fail stacks as well, even if you don't really use a super efficient method, especially for something as big as black distortion earrings, like, you are absolutely going to want to go above the soft cap. And this one, generally, you'll go pretty high. Now, I'll give you guys what I usually like to do for black distortion earrings, and I'll go over some of the other ones as well. Black distortion earrings is a little bit of a tricky example because, again, a lot of the times you are going to want to use cron stones on these, and that changes things a little bit, but still, you're always going to want to use a stack higher than 18. Like, I generally, if I'm cronning them, I generally like to go like around 25 or so. However, if you do not use cron stones, and I think this is completely okay for the base to pry black distortion earrings, if you do not use cron stones, you're actually going to want to use a stack somewhat closer to like between 30 and 40. I think 35 is fine. I think 33 is fine, like 37. You could even go like as low as basically 32. You could go as high as like 38, but somewhere in that general ballpark is actually going to be a huge money saver, because now you can see at 38 fail stacks, you get an extra 10% chance of success. Now, if you look at it this way, if you enhance with a 70% chance of success, basically it's going to take you, every time that you enhance, there's like roughly 1 in 3 chance, a little bit less than that, but roughly a 1 in 3 chance that you fail, and now you lose 2 black distortion earrings. You lose 600 million silver. The cost to go from 18 fail stacks to, 38 fail stacks or whatever, this might be a little bit too high, but let's just say like 36, 35, 34, something like that, is going to be maybe 10, 15, 20 million silver, even if you don't really build the stacks up too efficiently, like at the most 20, 25. You're going to save more than 25 million silver by giving yourself that extra 10% or so chance in order to actually succeed at this enhancement level. So that's the craziest example for really the base to pry, but even other accessories that are not as expensive, and these are probably a little bit better examples because you're not going to use crown stones on these, is going to be like if we go to necklaces like ogre rings, or latents, or even tongue grads, or basically like anything really that costs you more as a general ballpark. And these numbers, of course, depending on the market and Blackstones, this might change over time, so I'm a little hesitant to give out exact numbers, but I'll give it a general ballpark. Basically anything over like 40, 45, 50 million silver, you're going to want to use something higher than 18 in order to go from the base to pry, because once again, that rule of thumb of the amount of extra that it's going to cost you to get those few fail stack levels is going to be a lot less than what you give up and the extra chance to fail if you don't get those levels, because that's just how expensive those accessories are. So like for ogre rings lately, at the time of me making this video, like I've been doing roughly, like in the high 20s or so. So anywhere from like basically 30s is going to be, low 30s I think is okay for ogre rings, but high 30s is going to be too much at that point. They're 75 to 80 million each instead of 300 million each compared to the black distortion earrings. So no reason to really go that high, but once again, you're going to want to go above 18 for sure. So, like anywhere from 25 to 30, 31, even 32, I think you could probably make a case for, but really not too much higher than that. I'd say somewhere around 29, 30, 28, like in this general area. Like that extra 5% chance, like it might not seem like a lot, but if you do a lot of enhancing, if you do enhancing accessories properly, you are definitely going to want to give yourself that extra chance where it makes sense to, where you spend less than what you save. So those are the clear examples there. I think the most important one is the base to pry. That's going to be the one where it's very clear the areas to overstack. Understacking is actually a thing. I'm going to really get to that at the last step here, which is the try to tet accessory attempts. That's where understacking is really going to be more of a thing, because for the duo, this one is a bit easier. Duo is really, it's a tricky one, and there's a couple of cheap accessories that you can actually use slightly lower than 40 fail stacks. You can understack duos, like the really cheap accessories here. I think some examples are like Narc's earrings. You don't want to go too low though. You really don't. Like the extra couple percent that you lose when you go below 40 fail stacks, like that starts to add up really quickly. So if you are going to understack like the cheaper accessories, I'm talking about things that are like 20 million silver or less, 3 levels at the most, I would say. Like 4 is already a stretch. 2 levels is okay. Like you can do 38, you can do 37, you could even do 36, but don't really go any lower than that, because at that point, getting those extra levels on that fail stack is going to cost you less than the amount that you save. But this only really works for the cheaper accessories, like, the Narc's earrings and the other ones, like Roneros rings, which I'll get into that more when we talk about the TED accessory. Now, for the duo to try accessory here, it's really going to be difficult to ever understack here, because notice how the soft caps for both the duo and the try accessories are both going to be like right around 40 fail stacks. This is another really big bottleneck for fail stacks. 40 stacks are huge. Definitely one that, especially if you do accessories, you're always going to feel like you need more of. And you've got 2 different enhancement levels that are basically using the same stack. Now, this one is 4 levels higher, so keep that in mind. But this one's going to be really, really difficult in order to understack anything, really. You just lose too much money. Overstacking, though, you can do a couple levels over when it comes to certain accessories like ogres and the expensive ones once again, but not too much over. Just kind of like I talked about for the, the Pride to Duo, where like for Narc's earrings, you could go a couple levels under. For the Tri accessories, that if you're going to overstack the more expensive ones, like the ogres, the Laytons, the tongue grads, the stuff that's basically 50, 75, 100 million for the base items, maybe 4, 5, 6 levels at the most. A few levels does actually, it makes more sense to get a couple extra levels over the soft cap than it does to actually go with the exact soft cap. It's like right around that break-even point, though. Once you get past, like, fail stacks really start to get expensive once you get out of the level 40s into the level 50s, so if you can't do it, it's not really a big deal. It really isn't. Like, this one is totally fine to just go with the standard soft cap, but if you do use a stack a tiny bit higher for, like, the more expensive ones on Tri, it's generally a very small mathematical advantage in your favor. But once again, it's very small, especially in comparison to the stuff that I was talking about earlier, like for the base to Pri overstacking. That's much more important than overstacking anything at all, even just a few levels here for the Duo to Tri. And then the really important one here for the TED accessories, this one has a soft cap of 110 fail stacks, and most accessories, remember, tries are going to be very expensive at this point. They're going to be several hundred million silver to potentially billions of silver just for your Tri accessories, so it's mostly a disaster to understack almost all accessories below 110. There are a few exceptions where it is okay to do this, and that's going to be your absolute cheapest accessories, like things like the Forest Rhonos ring. You could see here that a Tet Forest Rhonos ring only actually sells for 830 million silver. A 110 stack is worth quite a bit more than that. So regardless of like all the other prices of the other accessories, like it doesn't make any sense to even use close to 110 stack when the actual item that you get from it is worth way less than that fail stack is. Like for 110 stack, they're generally worth $1 billion and a half or so silver. Hard to put an exact number on it. Maybe as low as like 750 million, as high as potentially 1.5 to 2 billion. But you get the point. It's worth way more than what using it for a Forest Rhonos ring would end up giving you. So for the cheaper accessories, like it is totally okay to understack for Tet. And I'm talking about going 10, 20, some of them potentially 25, or I don't know if this might be a little bit too low at this point, but somewhere, 10, 20 levels or so understacking for the cheapest Tet accessories is totally okay, but only for the really cheap ones, like the Forest Rhonos rings. Almost every other accessory, you're going to want to go with the exact soft cap of 110 fail stacks. And the only one that you would ever overstack on for Tet really is basically the Deboreka necklaces, because it's just so hard to get those. Besides that, like the cost of building fail stack levels past 110 is so unbelievably expensive that it's incredibly rare for you to find yourself in a spot where it's going to be worth overstacking. Really, just Deboreka is just the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head. Maybe there's something else out there, but it's most accessories just go with the standard soft cap for Tet, except for the cheap ones. So that's really everything. I think I threw enough info in this video. This was an important one, though. I get so many questions every single day about accessories, fail stacks, how to do them properly. Remember, once again, guys, that accessories, it's all about volume. Don't go in there with one accessory and one fail stack thinking you're going to make profit. That's not how it works. You have to do a whole lot of them. The more you do, the better things will probably go. But you got to be careful. They're very tricky, but knowing this stuff is indeed quite important. So that's it for the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. And if you did and you want more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Where you all are very enhancing is on the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/salt. So feel free to check it out. Drop a follow. I usually stream around 8 p.m. Pacific Standard. But that's going to be about it. So feel free to do all that YouTube stuff, subscribe, etc. More videos coming soon. And until next time, thanks for watching.